Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I will share some information about technical briefing and UDC 2022 that I have watched. The first thing that I want to share about is about roles or of your team. So if you are opening, here are the things that you need to do if you are opening as an opening team. The first thing is start with the most important issue of the debate. Explain them as solidly as possible, because this is the way you can win the debate. And next is don't need to make a dictionary definition. The next is if you are opening government, model helps but not mandatory. This is the thing that you need to note. You need to note too. And the next is if you are opening opposition, select your stance and status quo. Basically, this is status quo with an improvement or a completely new counterfactual. And the last one is take a POI from closing. Okay, moving into the next roles. If you are as a closing team, here are the things that you need to do. Is the first thing that you need to do is have an extension. The second is you have to summarize the debate or bias adjudication in favor of your closing team, not the bench. The next is extension is something new from the closing team. This can be anything. Actually, this extension can be new arguments, new responses, new examples, or new way of saying things. The more meaningful the new contribution is, the likelier the closing teams is to win. And the next is fill the gap of explanation from your opening, but don't repeat what they said. And the last one is take a POI from your opening. Okay, moving into the next speaker. This is the speaker roles. So if you are as a deputy speaker, this is the things that you need to do. The first is strengthen your team by provide an additional argument to support or oppose a motion, ideally something that your early speaker hasn't said. And also you can add additional explanation to support your teammates explanation. And you can also provide key response to the opening team. This is very important. Moving into the next is if you are as a member of opposition, member of opening, this is the things that you have to do. The first is provide an extension. Yes, provide an extension by highlighting and explaining a specific and unique contribution from your team, something that the opening team has not brought or has only touched briefly. Tell your judges your contribution is more meaningful. And also you can also providing an extension basically is more important sometimes than you just giving a responses. The next is provide key response to the opening teams. Okay, moving into the last thing the last thing is if you are as a web speaker, here is the thing that you need to do. The first is summarize the debate by equally important with responses, but responses should be structured in a way that summarize comparison between your team and three others. And also you can provide a bias adjudication as to why your team wins. The easiest to do this is like comparing why CG or CO win against OG or against OO or against CG or CO. And the next thing is strengthen extension. You can add additional explanation, factors, characterization, examples, and so on. for your team extension. And the last thing is provide key and final responses to the opening themes. If you are as a closing government, if closing government, you are the only speaker to the to member of opposition. Okay, next that I want to share about is talking about motion types. I think there are 5 types of motion. The first type is analysis motion. This house believe that this house should. This is the way you can recognize analysis motion. So this motion is ask you to assess whether the value of a certain item's occurrence or object is positive or negative from the perspective of a neutral observer. And usually this motion not feasibility or legally argument. So it's like more to the you need to analyze the motion, but you don't have to like okay, let's take a look to the example. For example, the motion is this house believe that the replacement of traditional shops by modern mini markets being more harm than good. So debate is about whether the above is true, not about banning mini markets, whether the merits of this action outweigh its harm from a neutral observer's POV. And the next kind of the motion is policy motion. This house will. So for the example of the motion is the actor, this house would ban modern mini marts. So the actor is the parliament or congress of the country. Therefore, this motion is usually not about why X bring more harm than good or otherwise. Instead, why the value achieve a specific threshold enough to compel the actor to something. And the next type of the motion is regret motions. You can recognize that when you find the word like this house regrets. This house regret. For the example, is this house regret the rise of NATO after the fall of the USSR. It is required to describe well what alternative would look like, better or worse. This would likely be the debate's main battleground, and you can evaluate in retrospect with the benefit of hindsight. And the next type of the motion is reverse motions, or you can recognize that by finding this house reverse. And moving into the next type of motion is actor motions. So if you find a motion, there is a word like as a X blah 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 blah. That's it. That is actor motion. So for the example of the motion is as a student, this house will choose study by online rather than study in the school. Oh, so in this motion, as the black community in the motion, so all argument must be anchored to the specific interest, way of thinking, prioritize, and needs of that particular actor. Everything else is not relevant. Okay, and the next thing is definition, not a dictionary definition. Okay, so it has mentioned in the first line that I have talked about in this video. So if you want to define a motion, you don't have to like giving a dictionary definition. You can you can define it specific in a way that helps the debate. Don't make the debate more specific, except the motion talk about that, mention about that. So yeah, I think that's all that I can talk about in this video. I'm sorry for my mispronunciation. Thank you so much for watching me. See you next time. Bye bye.